Hey guys, I'm here with Ricci Rukavina, who's the game director for Supremacy MMA. How's it going?
It's going great. It's going great.
Thank you for talking with us. The game looks awesome. Let's start off right off the bat. How does Supremacy MMA differ from the other MMA franchises that are out there?
Well, from the beginning, we wanted to take a different approach by being more arcade-like. So we're really in the middle of a sim and an arcade game. And what that essentially translates to is, anybody can pick it up and play right away and have a good time with it within minutes. But then if they want to get better at it, they can, and that will take, months of sort of mastering the moves, blocking, parrying, things like that are more arcadey-like.
What kinds of things have you put in there to just expound upon that for the hardcore gamer to keep them into Supremacy MMA?
Yeah, a lot of it, that's where sort of the arcade depth comes from in terms of blocking, parrying, strategy, timing, learning to use different meters. We've got stamina meters, we've got adrenaline meters, and all of that, is different for each of the fighters. And we've also added, each of the fighters is more based on style. So we have different styles in the game, and that adds a really large amount of depth because you kind of need to know your strategy as you're playing.
Talk to me about the style versus style and how MMA sort of evolved to what it is now and how gamers can utilize those strategies and things in the game.
Yeah, so style versus style is really what mixed martial arts is about. It's where it came from, and how will one style fare against another? How is one fighter going to beat and dominate another fighter? And we really latched onto that aspect to make our game feel much different than we think some of the other games out there. And that's also kind of a traditional arcade approach. One character feels vastly different from another. So an example is if you're a Savate fighter, which is more striking based, your stand-up game is everything. But if you're, say, a submission wrestler, where you're most comfortable is on the ground. And so that striker, as soon as he gets on the ground, he wants to get immediately back up. And the guy that's a submission wrestler, he wants to stay on the ground and get that striker on the ground as fast as possible. So there's this element of strategy that becomes really important. You've got to be strategic about how you make your moves, especially the better you get and the better players that you start playing. Style versus style, knowing what style does what, throws, submissions, whatever, it becomes kind of a crucial part of gameplay.
This is the first MMA game to include female fighters. Why is that special, and why did you guys think that was important?
I don't know why other games haven't done it in the past, but we thought it would be a really cool thing. Once we met with the girls and we've seen videos and went to some of their fights, we thought, wow, some of the female fights are even more brutal than some of the male fights that we've been to. So we just thought it was a really good thing not only to do for the sports, but just as gamers, as people, as a company that specializes in fighting games and has made and been a part of MMA games before. We thought it would be a really, really good thing.
And introducing a lot of people to this world of MMA that, hey, there are female fighters. We had a lot of people even on our crew that were like, I didn't even know there were female MMA fighters. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's true. And they're actually pretty inspirational people too. Somebody like Michelle, her backstory is, she was kind of a party girl into drugs, and it was MMA that got her out of that and got her fighting and actually, making more of her life. And that's what a lot of, we've responded to in terms of fighters and supporting fighters versus organizations. And yeah, it's really great stuff.
Who can we fight as in Supremacy MMA, and where can we fight?
So we've got a bunch of really well-known fighters. Jens Pulver, he's a former UFC champion. He's a great person, huge gamer, and a great fighter in his own right. So you can fight as him, you can fight as the girls, of course. We had announced Rome Labanner, who's a French kickboxer who's pretty famous in Europe. We've got a bunch of those, so you'll be able to play as them, but more importantly, you'll be able to play the styles. And we've got a lot of different styles that can go against each other, so you get all of these different matchups, whether it's boxing against judo or karate against Savate or Savate against Muay Thai. All of that lends to make the game feel really different and really special every time you play it. One of the things we wanted to differentiate ourselves with as well is just not showing the glitz and glamour of television. We've already seen that. That's been done. And we've got arenas, but we do know that fighters come from some pretty interesting places. We've heard the stories of where Jen's fought first and where some of our other fighters, where they, got their career started. So we go underground to cage bars, we go to illegal gambling halls, we go to Muay Thai camps, we go to dojos, lots of different places that are really fun to fight in, and again, are just, more about gameplay and fun. That's always been our inspiration.
You mentioned the arcade style that Supremacy MMA brings and highlights. How do you think MMA fans and gamers are going to respond to that? We're seeing a ton of broken bones, lots of damage in that way. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, well, we've already seen how they responded, which is really, really well. Once they get in there and they're able to do that, especially if it's not in the real world, it's a ton of fun. It's everyone from gamers to fighters to promoters to people that are really involved in MMA to people that have never played it before. Once they get in and they can sort of see the kind of brutal damage they can do and how that feels, they have a really great time, and it's really fun. So you can purple up legs, you can snap arms, you can snap legs, and things that have happened in MMA, we don't shy away from any of that.
Not if you learn the tap out, which I am very good at.
This is true.